Thank you for joining us on CoreTV News on the hour. I am Frank Omalapi, and here are some of the stories we're filing at this time. The Supreme Court has ordered that the impeached Deputy Governor of Taraba State, Sonny Donadee, be sworn in as acting governor. He is to replace Garba Maro, who has been acting governor since the then governor, Damba Basuntai, was injured in a plane crash in 2012. Donadee, who was Suntai's first deputy, was impeached by the State House of Assembly about a month before the crash. But the Apex Court ruled that the impeachment panel set up by the House of Assembly to investigate the allegations against him violated his rights to fair hearing. The report.
It's just over 2 years that Sonny Donadee was impeached on grounds of gross misconduct, but now he's set to return to a higher office. The Supreme Court not only set aside his impeachment, it also ruled that the Taraba State High Court and the Appeal Court erred by not granting him fair hearing. So, beaming with smiles, he was clearly happy but not prepared to speak, at least for now.
I can't say anything for now.
It's for another time, please, not for now.
Yeah,
not for now.
His lawyer was full of praises for the judiciary, while the other party nursed their wounds.
Our reaction is very simple. That it was a terribly bitter experience, particularly at the tribunal. But we thank Almighty God that we have Supreme Court, and I've always said so in all my lectures, that without Supreme Court, politicians would have since destroyed this country. This is the only arm of the government that is protecting democracy.
Clear. And when issue of fair hearing is raised, there is no shortcut to it. Everybody is to abide by the judgment of the court. It's well delivered.
And now that the reinstated deputy governor is set to occupy a higher position, the lawyers have a slightly different position on the implication of the court ruling.
The law is very simple. It means that one had never been a deputy governor or acting governor at all. And so all the salaries and everything has collected, all the contracts he has awarded are illegal. And the state must ensure that they are returned to the state.
The court said he should be returned as deputy governor. Okay. Now there is a sitting governor, and you know how the governor got there. That is another dimension to the case. Until we get to the bridge, then we know how to cross it. But the judgment of the court is very, very clear. They said the man was wrongly removed and he should return as deputy governor.
For now, allies of the man who was impeached a few weeks before the then governor Damba Basuntai had a plane crash can afford to celebrate. This is because he left office practically in disgrace, but is returning as acting governor.
The Police High Command says the All Progressive Congress plans to invade INEC and the presidential villa with hoodlums and political thugs. It also revealed that 7 suspects are in custody over the rowdy scene that took place at the National Assembly complex on Thursday. Speaking at a press briefing in Abuja, police spokesman Emmanuel Ojukwu insisted that the police action at the legislative complex was based on an intelligence report of an invasion similar to what happened when some of our people recently barricaded the force headquarters.
We had Governor Rotimi Amechi say that if they don't win the 2015 elections, they will form a parallel government. We had that. We also heard that they are storming the force headquarters was just the first step. That subsequently they will invade the INEC, National Assembly, and lastly, the presidential villa. So following that intelligence that followed from it, the police began to monitor the activities of these political actors. So it's a Thursday, the 20th of November. We had credible intelligence that there will be mayhem at the premises of National Assembly. And it is our duty to protect lives and property. And so the police mobilized to check entrance and exit for a National Assembly. Both chambers were cordoned and adequate police and logistics deployed to protect life and property. We all know National Assembly is a national asset, it's a national heritage. We won't allow hoodlums that tried to attack force headquarters the day before to have access to such priceless edifice.
Senate President David Mark has admitted that he was assaulted by a member of the House of Representatives when he attempted to intervene in the crisis that followed the police invasion of the National Assembly. He, however, said he had forgiven the lawmaker, who has since been identified as Abdulmalik Cheche, a PDP member from Niger State. Mark added in a statement that both the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Aminu Tambuwal, and the Niger State Governor, Babangida Aliyu, had already pleaded with him on behalf of lawmaker over his unruly behavior. He described his experience in the hands of the lawmaker as his prize and sacrifice for leadership, providing an insight into what transpired inside the lower chamber. Mark said the visit to the chamber was to ascertain the safety of Tambuwal and his colleagues, having received reports that canisters of tear gas were targeted at them. He insisted that his intention was to safeguard the sanctity of the hallowed chamber, as well as confer with the Speaker on the need to suspend plenary in both chambers in order to restore sanity to an environment that had turned restive and becoming uncontrollable. The army authorities have denied claims that soldiers who died fighting Boko Haram insurgents are being buried in mass graves. Army spokesman Brigadier General Olajide Olaile told newsmen in Abuja that the allegations were meant to dent the image of the military and dampen the morale of troops. He insisted that soldiers who died in line of duty are laid to rest with full military honors.
Being buried in mass graves. Well, I would like to say that it is absolutely not true. It is absolutely not true. The Nigerian Army has cemeteries all over the country. And not only does it have cemeteries all over the country, the Nigerian Army has laid down procedures. The Nigerian Army has laid down procedures for burying its own. There is no soldier that will be buried anywhere in this country whereby his or her next of kin will not be informed. It is not possible. The Nigerian Army does not bury soldiers unless the next of kin have been informed. So to that effect, when the next of kin is informed, it means that the authority to bury such soldiers has been obtained from the next of kin. And I'm sure all of you know that some of the best well-kept cemeteries in the Federation are owned by the Nigerian Army. Therefore, the soldiers that have unfortunately paid the supreme price in our war against insurgency in the Northeast are buried with all respect, with all due military process and procedure. They are given the appropriate regimental burial.
Nigeria's military says the exploit of hunters in the ongoing war against the insurgents is being deliberately misrepresented to ridicule soldiers in the line of duty. It, however, admits that the hunters have been supporting the troops in the ongoing onslaught against Boko Haram. Defense headquarters said in a statement on its website that claims that hunters liberated some communities are part of a mischievous campaign to disparage the professional efforts at containing the territories, especially in Adamawa. It, however, noted that the result of the military efforts will soon manifest for the whole world to see. Meanwhile, CoreTV News has come across the celebrated head of local hunters in Gombe local government area of Adamawa State, Yakubu Ali. Ali led the team of local hunters that dislodged Boko Haram members from Mobi and Meiha local government areas of Adamawa State, killing scores of insurgents. The head of the hunters, who said he is not known to appear in public, says he decided to do so in order to deny news making rounds that he had been captured or killed by the insurgents.
Ni sarkin bakan Gombe ba wanda ya kama ni, ina gida ina zaune a bina, kuma ni ma ina ji dai ana jite-jite, ina ji an kama ni nace bari in zo in bayyana kaina, shine na fito.
He added that all the local hunters under his command are safe and well, and admonished the public to desist from spreading false information.
Suna nan da suna lafiyansu kalau ba wanda ya kama dukkanmu. A bar yada jite-jite ba yi da amfani.
You're still watching CoreTV News and the Hour. We'll take a short break. We'll be back with more stories after this timeout. Stay with us.
Hello and welcome to Health Issues. This is CoreTV News Health Program.
Congenital disorder affecting the orofacial region.
Solely in this category, bacterial hepatitis.
Feeding is a natural way of a mother.
This is a program that takes an in-depth look at health challenges. Faced by humans in our society.
Health issues only on CoreTV News.
Glad to have you back now. For more information on our news and other programs, visit our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/CoreTV News. And our Twitter handle at CoreTV News NG. You can also log on to youtube.com/CoreTV. Leave a space, the news. Special advisor to the Akita State Governor Ayodele Fayoshe on information and new media, Larry Olayinka, who visited CoreTV News on Friday, says the APC lawmakers in the State House of Assembly are only raising a false alarm. He says the lawmakers have abandoned their duties and wondered why they now feel unsafe at the sight of the police.
On June 21 this year, an election was conducted. Fayoshe won overwhelmingly, including the local government of the former governor, Fayemi. Fayemi could not win a single local government. After winning that election, what did the APC people do? They sponsored a court case against the governor, and they were seeking for an injunction restraining the Fayoshe from assuming office. When it became obvious that they were not going to get that court order in Akita, they went to Abuja. They filed a case using an unregistered political party, Young Democratic Party, seeking an injunction restraining the Chief Judge of Akita State, Justice Ayodele Jidaramola, from swearing in Fayoshe as the governor. When the Abuja one did not fly, they ran to Lagos to file a case, another case again, seeking the same injunction. As at the morning of October 16 this year, when Fayoshe was being sworn in, the APC people were still sure that a court order will come from Lagos and stop Fayoshe swearing in. And that was the reason Omeni did not attend the inauguration, because he was actually prepared to be sworn in as the acting governor. When that failed, the next thing was for them to apply their plan B, and the plan B is use the House of Assembly to frustrate the government.
The Arewa Consultative Forum ACF wants the National Assembly to reject President Goodluck Jonathan's request for another extension of emergency rule in Adamawa, Borno, and Yobe states. The National Publicity Secretary of the Forum, Muhammad Ibrahim, said in a statement issued in Kaduna that emergency rule is not a routine exercise and not a solution to the insurgency ravaging the region. According to the Northern Nigerian Group, it's worrisome that the federal government does not appear to have better solution to ending the menace. It's noted that emergency rule has provided insurgents more opportunity to seize more territories without any appreciable resistance from the military. Oyola-based legal practitioner Zubero Colone says the inability of the National Assembly to approve the president's request for the extension of the state of emergency in the three northeastern states of Adamawa, Borno, and Yobe states means that governors of the affected states will assume the security responsibilities.
Section 305, sub 6 and paragraph B spelled out. That is where the National Assembly, that is consists of the House of Reps and the Senate. That is, if the National Assembly is in session, or if they're not in session, 10 days is required by the Constitution for the National Assembly to convene and pass a resolution. If 2/3 of the members That is, if the resolution cannot be passed by 2/3, automatically the state of emergency has now ceased. That is, from there, they have not approved the request made by His Excellency, that is the President, for the National Assembly to approve. Because state of emergency, the President can just proclaim it. Okay, then subsequently will send to the National Assembly for approval. Now, if the National Assembly, after extension from 6 months, now they refuse to pass or to approve for the President, 2/3 has not been obtained, then automatically go based on section 305 sub 6 paragraph B I have just mentioned, then there is no state of emergency. That is, the state governors should take security control of their respective states.
He added that the Constitution has not provided for the President to bypass the National Assembly in extending the state of emergency as suggested by some people.
The provision of the Constitution has stated it clearly under section 305. There is no way that the President the Constitution has not provided that. Now, an attempt by the President to do so, it can be termed as unconstitutional. Now, you look at it, the action of the President must be guided by the provision of the Constitution.
Bayelsa State Governor Akita Dixon has dismissed sections of a feud with President Goodluck Jonathan over party affairs in the state. Speaking with State House correspondent on the sidelines of the National Economic Council meeting in Abuja, the governor insisted that there is peace in the state.
And leaders, rulers, to felicitate Mr. President and his family, even though we know he doesn't normally celebrate birthdays. But we thought this is an opportunity to solidarize with him and let him know that we, his people, are there for him. And also, I gave a report that Bayelsa is on course, Bayelsa is moving, Bayelsa is on track, Bayelsa is united, Bayelsa is stable, Bayelsa is at peace with itself and at peace with the rest of our country. We are grateful to Nigerians. We are at peace with the rest of the world. And we hope the best. We wish the best for Mr. President. We wish the best for our country. And we wish, of course, the best for Bayelsa.
Now, the former Minister of State for Defense, Musiliu Obanikoro, has made his intention known to govern Lagos State on the platform of the PDP. Obanikoro, who boasted of possessing the right qualification to lead the state, made the declaration on Friday at the Lagos PDP Secretariat. A correspondent, Oluwaseyi Adegoke, has more.
I stand before you today to formally announce my interest in becoming the candidate of our party for the 2015 general governorship election.
The People's Democratic Party Secretariat was agog as party faithful, families and friends of Musiliu Obanikoro joined him as he made his intention known to vie for the governorship of Lagos State, claiming his experience is a good platform to do a good job of leading the state.
A state that I have had the singular opportunity to serve as a director, as a chairman of a local government, as a commissioner, as a senator, as a and I've equally enjoyed real privilege of serving this great country of ours as a minister, as a chairman of a board, Nigeria Industrial Trust Fund, and as an ambassador of our great country to the Republic of Ghana. This array of exposures and experiences has come with a price. A price that only a man who has passion for service can continue to endure and continue to challenge himself to do more.
Obanikoro says, contrary to some people's opinion, he is a man of peace.
Some people have said so many things about me, negative ones indeed. Some have said Koro is a thug.
Oro is a promoter of violence. I'm not any of this. I cannot be a thug. I'm a father who have raised children who have also right now distinguished themselves in what they are doing. A thug doesn't do that.
Chairman of the party, Tunji Shele, says all aspirants under the party will be given a level playing field to make a change in Lagos.
I want to say that he is eminently qualified. He has the profile, he has the pedigree, and I've assured him that we shall give every aspirant a level playing ground. A lot has happened in the last 16 years of APC governance in Lagos State. PDP is the alternative.
As the 2015 general elections draw closer, the people of Lagos are eager to know who will eventually occupy the Lagos House come 2015. Oluwaseyi Adegoke, CoreTV News, Lagos.
In sports now, Super Eagles head coach Stephen Keshi still wants to continue in his role despite missing out on qualification for next year's Africa Cup of Nations. Keshi believes sacking him will do nothing to reverse the downward trend the Eagles are currently experiencing, insisting the problems goes beyond him. Keshi, who has been working without a contract since the expiration of his last deal after the World Cup, admitted that failure to qualify for next year's AFCON is failure on his part. His agent, Emma Ado, was however silent on his client's future, but echoed Keshi's sentiment that the problem of the team goes beyond the coach. And outside Nigeria now, police said 11 people have been killed in a stampede after a religious service in a stadium in Zimbabwe. 4 people died in a stadium in the central town of Kwekwe, while 7 others were declared dead on arrival in hospital. The stampede occurred as thousands of worshippers rushed to leave after the service by popular Pentecostal preacher Walter Megaya. He claims to be able to heal people by performing miracles. Some witnesses accused the police of blocking most of the stadium exits and then fired in tear gas as people battled to get through the only one left open. The police have denied firing tear gas. Megaya, head of the Prophetic Healing and Deliverance Ministries, told a local newspaper that the development was the saddest moment of his life. Well, and that's a wrap on CoreTV News at this time. Well, thanks for watching. I am Frank Omalape. I'll see you again.